What's up, guys? I'm going to show you guys how to make super cheap and super easy to make airbrush paint. I mean, it's so easy, so cheap, and so brainless that I'm so shocked someone else on YouTube has not posted it. So, what else I'm going to talk? Another thing I want to say is, now this paint that I make, number one, it's going to be a matte finish, so there's going to be no shine to it. And I mean, you can buy satin paint, but the Walmart that I went to, there was not a big selection of the satin acrylic paints. So I just went with a matte acrylic paint. Okay, so no need to talk. Let's get started, guys. I'm all set up now. Okay, now what you're gonna need is water. You're gonna need a tablespoon measure, a 1 teaspoon measure, and a 1/4 teaspoon measure. And you're gonna need a glass. And the reason why I like glass is because it's gonna be way easier to clean. It's not gonna stick as much to the glass as opposed to plastic. And we're gonna be using this. This is the brand's called Apple Barrel. I got it at Walmart. It was 50 cents, guys. No, actually, with the taxes, it wound up being 54 cents. Okay, it's a 2-ounce bottle. It's black paint. It's a matte finish. So if you want to shine, your clear coat may need to be like a semi-gloss or a gloss. So okay, so here I go. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna pour it in there. And it needs to be all of it. Make sure it's clean. Make sure your glass is clean. Let me get that little speck out. All right, let's pour it. All of it, too. Okay, and now, off camera, I tried a lot of combinations to get this right. I found that a 1.5 tablespoons worked good for me. So, I'm going to take this tablespoon, fill it up with water. Okay, and I'm going to take this teaspoon, and obviously, if you don't know, 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. I'm going to take this teaspoon, fill it up with water, dump it, and I'm going to take this 1/4 teaspoon. I don't have a 1/2 teaspoon measurer. I'm going to dump, one more dump. All right, and then I take my little, whatever, you can use anything to mix it. I mean, anything. I'm going to take this little toothbrush and mix it. Make sure it's really good because you don't have any. I'm going to take this bottle and I'm going to clean it out and pour this back in there. So there's nothing close in there. So just got to keep mixing. Alright, so we're here at my paint booth, and the paint is ready, so let's pour it in the gun, and let's see if it works. Let's try it out. Yep, look at that, guys. 50-cent paint. See that? Now, let's try painting something. Let's paint this lid, because I got a trick I want to show you guys. All right? Now, it looks a little wet right now. Like, if you look, you'll see it's bubbly, but I have a little trick. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. I have an air dryer. What I do is I'll put it up to this light, and I'll just dry it. Okay. Now, like before I did just do that, it was wet looking, it was real shiny looking, and now it's very dull. And that's the thing about these matte acrylic paints. They really don't have that shine that the satins do. Okay? So, I mean, it's like totally dull now before I just did that. Another thing, put it up to the light, okay? Because if you're just doing this somewhere else, you really can't, I mean, you'll see it just evaporate off the surface. So, okay, now let's do some price comparison. I looked online at Texas Art Supplies, Hobby Lobby, Amazon, and I came up with an average. It was about $6 to $7 for a 2-ounce airbrush paint. This was 54 cents, guys. 54 cents. And another thing too is that, I mean, $6 doesn't seem like much, but when you're working on a project that requires 4 color or 5 colors, 6 colors, 7 colors, maybe 8 or 10 colors, that $6 can really add up. I mean, it really can. I mean, this is like a super cheap alternative. I mean, you're going to need a good primer and a good finishing, a good top coat to make sure it doesn't come off the surface. But this, if you're trying to be economical, this really is a cheap alternative, okay? Now I'm going to put the instructions down below if you missed it. Try watching this video again. I have a Facebook page, guys. Don't forget to like me on Facebook. And I'll see you guys next time. Another part I forgot to add, I'm not going away, is putting the paint back in the bottle. Because, you know, to be real cheap, you could just reuse this bottle. So I'm going to take this and move it over here so no extra water while I'm cleaning this gets in the paint. So I'm going to put it here. I'm going to clean this guy out. All right? And make sure this thing is cleaned thoroughly. All right? And this acrylic paint, guys, is so easy to clean. I mean, it's just, it comes right off. I mean, without any clear coats or primers, it really cannot stick to much. I mean, I got this thing pretty clean now. Now, the next key is to make sure that this bottle and this is totally dry. And the reason why is you don't want any more moisture getting in that gun in the paint, because the reason why is that you don't want, I mean, the thing about, the trouble with getting this, the formula, the 2-ounce paint to 1.5 tablespoons of water, is that trying to get it liquid enough to go through the gun, but not so liquidy that, you know, it splatters all over the place when you shoot it out of the gun, okay? Oh, by the way, here's a trick I'm doing. I'm taking a fabric and I take it and stuff it in there, and it's going to capture any moisture that I really would have trouble normally getting. I guess I can take this and stuff it in there, take it around, and just get the moisture. All right. Just take my finger and pull it out. That takes it. And now, time to take this. I guess we can put this in the sink. I look in there one more time and watch. Pour it in there. It's close enough. One more thing. Another thing is to label it. I mean, I've already got it labeled. I labeled it with a marker. I said matte, and I said 1.5 tablespoons of water. So, well, that's all I've got, guys. I mean, I'm not the airbrush expert, but this is just, you know, an option, guys. Another thing, too, is that this paint is not super strong. This paint will chip off pretty much any plastic surface. You're going to need a good primer, and you're going to need a good sealer or a top coat or a clear coat or whatever you want to call it. Because this alone, I mean, it may stay on fabric and paper, but like really hard plastic resins, you're gonna need a primer and a clear coat. So that's all I've got to say this time. Subscribe, and don't forget to like me on Facebook. See